today in response to a summons duly issued by this committee to provide testimony on matters within your knowledge that are relevant to the subject of this inquiry. Please be reminded that you are appearing on the oath, and pursuant to the provision of the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia, it constitutes contempt of the National Assembly to knowingly withhold, misrepresent, or conceal any information relevant to the committee's work. Furthermore, please be advised that in accordance with the parliamentary privileges, any statement or testimony you provide before this committee shall not be used against you in any court of law, except in cases of perjury, that is where it is proven that you knowingly and deliberately provided false information whilst on the oath. You are therefore expected to cooperate fully and to provide truthful, accurate, and complete responses to all questions posed to you, whether by the committee's legal counsel or by members of this honorable committee. The committee appreciates your presence and expects your utmost candor and cooperation throughout these proceedings. Once more, thank you for coming. Table office, you can now do the oath.
Stand up. Usually can mention your full names.
I, Hamat Ngain Kumbaba, do solemnly, sincerely, and thoroughly swear that the evidence I shall give before this committee shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Thank you very much for taking the oath. At this point, Honorable Minister, I will hand you over to the lead counsel to lead you through the investigations. Counsel, can take over.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Welcome to the National Assembly once more, Honorable Minister. Before I ask that you give us a quick introduction, even though I'm sure an introduction is not needed, I would put some statements to you and I would just ask whether you can confirm or deny. The first is that you are summoned to produce some documents was issued to you by this committee. Summons to produce, yes, a summons to produce documents. Yes. Was that put to you? Did you ever receive a summons to produce?
I did not get that. I did not get that from the summons that I was to produce documents here.
Okay. Were you issued with a summons to meet with investigators?
I did. I met the investigators initially.
Yes.
Yes.
And from that session, I believe it prompted you to submit some documents.
No, I should have submitted some documents at the time. I promised to do so.
Or did you end up submitting those documents?
I did not.
You did not?
Yes.
Okay. And who was promised?
Who?
Who did you promise to?
I promised to the investigators at the time that I would endeavor to get those documents, but I could not get those documents to deliver them.
Okay, that's fine. It seems your team is very efficient because your team, or somebody from your ministry or your team, sent in some documents. So we have documents for you.
Thank you.
But they were
I came with one of my permanent secretaries during my interview.
I see. So perhaps he followed up and sent the documents in.
Okay.
And you are most certainly sent summons to appear before the committee, and that's
absolutely that one I accept.
Why you're here.
That's why I'm here.
Great. And you did make a statement with the investigators. I hope you looked at it.
I did, looked at it and signed the statement.
And you agree with all the
Absolutely,
statements?
it was true, exactly what transpired.
Great. Honorable Chair, I would ask that the documents submitted by the Honorable Minister and the statement be marked. The statement, I suggest, it is marked MC for Ministerial Committee 1.
Very well.
MC1. And then the submission be MC2 as a bundle. So there will be MC2A, 2B, 2C,
Okay.
so forth.
That's fine. Okay.
Thank you.
Proceed.
Honorable, I would ask that you now give us your accolades and specifically your professional and academic backgrounds before we proceed.
Well, I gone through primary, secondary school, also university training at the Accor Academy in France, in Paris, and then worked in the teaching field prior to that. And of course, work also as an accounts clerk, and then rose from there to the hotel industry where I rose to a general manager's level. And of course, got into government as minister on the 8th of January 2017, up to date as minister, holding 2 different portfolios.
Indeed, and you have, I like the last statement that from January 2017 to date, you have been in cabinet.
The longest serving cabinet minister of the current government.
Indeed.
Yes.
And that's precisely why you're before this committee today.
I understand very well why I'm before this committee, because of my historic and institutional memories.
Thank you. So I would be giving you a lot of latitude in this session. You are a witness that should advise the committee on government's processes as it pertains the ministerial committee. And I would ask perhaps if you could brief us on the mandate cabinet gave the ministerial committee after the white paper was issued. And in so doing, please take us from the genesis. Feel free to take us through. Although I must note that we are starting pretty late. Our fault. It is not your fault. I put it on record. And I would like us to be on very time conscious. But as you will, please.
Thank you. I think it is very important that I come to this committee to at least to appear before the committee in order to shed light on some of the misconception and misinformation and disinformation that have been spread around these issues of Yahya Jammeh's sales of Yahya Jammeh's assets and disposal. I believe that, frankly speaking, it's an outcome of bad journalism that have led us to where we are, which can only be a threat to national stability and national unity. Therefore, it is important to come before this committee to state the facts, nothing but the facts, for the good, general good. So when I got this report, I heard about the publications of the Republican article regarding this whole issue of Jammeh and went through it. I realized that there is a lot of misinformation regarding the report. And that's, of course, was the reason why Parliament got interested, because Parliament represents the people. When there is an issue of national concern, it is always important that Parliament comes in order to clarify and get the facts before the people. And I think that was the very reason why I welcome this committee. Although the slow pace was not one of I would have thought that within a month this committee would wrap up and inform the general public of the outcome of their investigation. So it is important that I am here before you. Let me just start. When the JANNEH Commission completed and submitted their report, it was subjected to cabinet scrutiny to produce the white paper, to look at the recommendations of the committee, what was to be accepted, what was not to be accepted, and indeed what was accepted as to what procedure and processes we need to engage in as a government to implement those recommendations. One of them was the assets that were said to be the assets of, some of the assets that were said to be the assets of former president. The cabinet decided to form a task force cabinet committee that would look at these assets, and then from there on, advise cabinet as to what needs to be done on each of these assets, which we took in good faith. We started, we went through it, but we decided to set up a technical committee composed of permanent secretaries and another cadre, but all the permanent secretaries of those ministries were involved with other support staff to advise the committee as to how to go about some of these assets. Because when we received that report from the technical committee, then the cabinet task force committee looked at the report, again accepted some of those recommendations, and others did not, but submitted everything to cabinet for final approval, because we were a subcommittee of cabinet. We do not have the right to approve. What we did was to submit those based on our recommendations from what we have received from the technical committee, submit it to cabinet, for cabinet then, of course, to decide on the way forward on some of these assets. It was there that we decided some of the assets may not be sold, should not be sold at all, should remain as government assets, and that should be maintained for the government of the Gambia for its usage. Now, then the other one, we felt, of course, need to be disposed, need to be sold, and then, of course, the Cabinet Task Force Committee decided to set itself in order, and then yet look at all the, after appointing a receiver, look at all the assets stage by stage, because this was not done in totality. We were choosing, we were taking few, look at them, and then, of course, with the valuation they had, this was submitted to the receiver, who again goes on to revalue them to make sure that these things are sold at the right price. That was done. And then, of course, after the sale, we now compile that report to cabinet. Again, what is sold and what is not sold. And then we decide of what to sell. If we decide what to sell, we go back to cabinet. Cabinet approves it, or sometimes says, don't sell this one. We will need it for a particular ministry, or we'll need it for an agency. Then that one is deleted. So I think we've gone up to number 4 sets of sales, if I stand to be corrected on that. And the sales then goes on through public tender. Indeed, through public tender, those who they paid to the National Treasury for these things and get their receipts, and then titles were processed. Then, of course, the Cabinet Subcommittee have been constantly reporting to Cabinet on all its activities regarding the sale. In short, that's what I would summarize for you.
If I may ask, before we even proceed any further, either of the Cabinet Technical Committee or the task force, the subcommittee of Cabinet, are either of them still sitting to this day?
No. The technical committee was meant to advise the task force.
Yes.
That is the Cabinet Subcommittee with task force.
And they submitted a report.
They submitted a report. Based on that report, then Cabinet also, the subcommittee also reported back to Cabinet.
I see.
But the technical committee was dissolved immediately.
And that report back to Cabinet,
Yes.
do you recall the date?
I cannot recall any date.
Okay.
Because I'm not keeping the records.
That's fine. But would you be able to look at a document and confirm or deny whether it's...
Hopefully, if I see it, probably I should be able to. Okay. Yes. I can have that memory to recognize that document of the technical committee.
Great. Secretariat, if you could afford the witness with the MOJ 9 series, the entirety of the series. But in the meantime, Honorable Minister, perhaps you can move on. What category of assets were deflected back from the JANNEH Commission to the government?
Various assets. There are different categories. Houses, shares, you know, different assets. Yes.
No vehicles?
No, we were not, I cannot remember. No, we were not in charge of vehicle. I cannot remember us being in charge of vehicles.
Yes.
No, no. I don't think that ever reaches the Cabinet Task Force Committee.
What about the cattle?
No, it never reaches. It was not within our purview. That was done before before the report was even concluded.
Well, we were told you are a gynaco. You are really interested in.
I'm a typical guy now, and I'm proud to be one.
Great.
Yes.
Secretariat. Perhaps you can, in the meantime, we can talk about how the ministerial committee interpreted its mandate. If you can just dilute on that. I know you touched on it in your answer.
Well, our mandate was just an advisory mandate, was to advise the cabinet on what we did or what we need to do or what we have done, and then cabinet takes a decision. We were not taking decision that was not approved by cabinet.
Okay.
Yes.
And your mandate was looking from the white paper and not the report of the commission?
Well, the report also, the technical report is as a result of the white paper.
I see.
So they are in tandem together.
I see. At any point, would the subcommittee or the technical committee look at the commission's report? I know that the white paper supersedes the commission's reports, the 9 volumes, but at any point, were the 9 volumes any guidance?
Well, when there is the need,
Okay.
but I can remember if ever there was the need to do that. But if there is need, yes.
Because the commission had several recommendations, a lot of which are not being heeded to.
Repeat, let me hear.
What I'm saying is that the commission had several recommendations.
Yes. Which one? Which of the committees?
Sorry,
the technical committee or the task force committee?
My apologies.
Yes.
The commission, I meant to say.
The commission.
The commission had
Yes.
a series of recommendations which were put to the government to either accept or otherwise.
Yes.
And that's why, because the white paper doesn't actually capture every single recommendation. It takes a chunk of them and deals with the chunk of them. So I wish to know which document the 2 committees were looking at. But you've answered that it's the white paper. Yes. That everything is derived.
We were dealing with the white paper.
Okay.
Yes.
And how frequent were the meetings?
Yes, they've been going very frequent, but at one time they were a little bit distant.
So, okay.
Yes.
And the committee had minutes, didn't it?
They had minutes under the custody of the Attorney General Chambers.
Okay. That's important because we have still not received any of
And there was a gentleman called Mr. Binga, who was taking the minutes.
Okay.
So I expect the minutes to be at the Attorney General Chambers.
Okay.
We were shared these minutes. As committee members. But you know, when ministries change, you don't. But I believe that at the Attorney General Chambers, there should be all these minutes there. Because they were generating the minutes,
Yes.
sharing it to committee members.
Would you be surprised to know that no such minute was submitted to the assembly?
That would be a disappointment. Yes, that would be a disappointment if no minutes were submitted when the minutes were made, prepared. Well, then that's another issue.
Okay, thanks for confirming that. If you could look at MOJ 9, there are a series of... Secretariat, does the witness have MOJ 9? Okay. There are a series of reports. There are a series of reports. But there are 2 that are striking. There's one, a report of the committee to cabinet dated the 28th of April 2020, and there's another dated the 28th of October 2020. Now, one is titled Final Report, and the other is, I believe, an interim report, but it's titled Report to the Presidential Task Force on the Assets Forfeited to the State. And it goes on. I would like you to look at both these documents and advise whether these were the technical and subcommittee reports.
Repeat what you said.
So I said a lot.
You said a lot. Repeat this one.
Okay. I would like you to look at two documents to
Which
confirm.
page? Which page?
So,
To refer me to the page.
sure. They are not in pages because they are different documents, but you would see a document referred to as MOJ 9.
MOJ 9.
9G.
MOJ 9G. At the back?
Perhaps what I can do is we can swap documents. Mine is already tagged. I've highlighted.
Let me struggle to get to MOJ 9. I think I can do that.
I see. Okay. The entire document is MOJ 9 series.
Okay.
However,
Yeah.
you would see the first one is MOJ 9A. Is there any marking on that document?
There is no marking here.
Okay. Perhaps my document might
Yeah, you
might
can
aid
bring
better.
your document. Let me use
Yes.
that. Because this one has no marking.
That's fine. So I've tagged them for you with sticky notes already.
No problem. Okay. Repeat your question now that I have the document with me.
Certainly. My question is, looking at the first report, that is the report of the 23rd of April 2020, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Is that the final technical committee report?
Yes, as far as, yes, this is exactly the one, yes.
Okay. Honorable Chair, that is MOJ 9E for your reference. So we can look at the second document.
Yes, 28 October 2020.
Yes.
Yes.
Is that the report, the final report of the ministerial committee?
Yeah, the minister, I cannot call it a final report because the ministerial committee have been reporting at different times to cabinet.
Yes.
It's one of cabinet task force committee's report.
Okay.
I cannot call it a final report.
And the last report,
Yes,
does it encompass all the earlier findings or reports, or each report has separate?
No, when we dispose,
Yes.
we report back to cabinet.
I see.
What is disposed and what's left out.
Okay, so that's what I wished for you to explain to the committee. Treat us like lay people. In fact, we are. In cabinet matters, we are lay
Yes.
people. So take us through.
What the committee does when we meet, we look at the whether the assets were sold through tender, whether they were not sold, because some of them people don't tender at all. They are not sold. That means we would say, okay, item A, B, and C were not sold. C and D were sold. We get a report from the receiver indicating the amounts and the total amount of the sales. Bank from the receiver to the central bank, confirming this. So the ones that are not sold, we now look at the other ones and then report to cabinet to say, look, 10 properties were sold. This was the amount, bank with the central bank, and these ones were not sold. Then when we meet again, we decide what to sell. And now we go back to cabinet to say, look, we have marked these ones for sale through tender. And when cabinet approves it, we go back and then discuss it, then send it to the tender, to the receiver to put it on tender and sell. What is not sold or what is sold, he comes back to us. So we've been reporting to cabinet intermittently.
So, okay, if
It's not one-off reports.
I see. If I understand it, then perhaps it could be said or argued that the committee is still not functus, that the committee still has issues to report on.
Oh yes, we still have. We have to meet, in fact. We have issues to report on. Not all the assets are sold.
Okay, perhaps then I'll limit my questions.
They are not all sold. There are many of them not sold, and we need to meet and decide what to sell, what not to sell.
Great. Honorable Chair, I've made a mental note to advise myself. I perhaps need to seek counsel on whether to keep proceeding, because the government has still not finished, the committee has not finished its...
Selling assets of Jammeh, no.
Exactly.
And quote me for that.
So perhaps I'll limit my questions for now until I get counsel. Okay.
Very well.
Are you in a position, Honorable Minister, to tell the committee how many or a percentage or a fraction?
I have no idea how much is sold now.
Yes.
I don't, and I can't. Not for now.
But the manner or nature of assets that have been sold currently are land.
What?
What nature of assets have been
This
sold?
one asset shares were sold,
Okay.
houses were sold, and so on and so. But I cannot remember vividly exactly what until we get to the records.
That's fine. Perhaps we can jump that a bit. Well, I'm worried to touch on a matter that is still ongoing. I would ask, there is some ambiguity in our assessment of documents, and we wish for you to throw some light in it. You see, during the pendency of the JANNEH Commission, certain lands were lifted through the Ministry of Justice, through the courts rather, by the Ministry of Justice. I'm sure they were doing the government's bidding at the time. And those lands were in the TDA. But they were lifted, the freezing order rather was lifted at a time when the JANNEH Commission was still investigating those lands. Can you recall and shed some light on that?
I can definitely recall.
Please do.
Council. I remember that when we came to power, there are a lot of inquiries for people who wanted to invest in this country, because the image of the country have changed. It has become more positive and more conducive for investors to invest in the Gambia. Unfortunately, because of this embargo on vis-a-vis the JANNEH Commission inquiry, investors were torn away because we could not act on it until we get, of course, from the attorney through the courts to the Attorney General for the GT board to access these lands in order to allocate to prospective investors to invest in the country. We realized that we were losing a lot of investors coming to this. And then the Attorney General was directed to really seek the approval of the court decision to lift these lands so that GT board can continue doing the allocation to prospective investors. That was done, and I can confirm that to you. And there was a letter written by the then Attorney General Chambers to the Gambia Tourism Board indicating those lands that were available for them now to put to the public for prospective investors to invest in.
Yes, the letter has been received in evidence.
Thank you.
What's
the date of the letter?
I would need to seek advisement on that.
And you have the list of all the lands?
Yes, we do have the list of all the
Thank
lands.
you. Go ahead.
So, my apologies, I'm just recollecting my thoughts. So, did the government communicate to the commission that
this was a matter for the Attorney General to deal with, not me.
Okay.
To deal with the courts and the commission for that matter.
That's a good answer, Honorable.
Wasn't me. That wasn't my job.
I must say, that's a very good answer.
Yes.
Did you consult your lawyer before you came here?
I don't need a lawyer.
Okay.
I've been a lawmaker.
I see.
I've been sitting where they're sitting right now.
So you know the terrain?
Of course, very well indeed.
Okay. Now, the assets, most of them were identified by the JANNEH Commission. I wish for you to enlighten this committee whether other assets were found by the committee.
Which committee?
The Cabinet Subcommittee.
Yes, I believe some items, some other lands were found, some other assets were found, but I don't believe that we have got a full compilation of those assets as we speak right now. But yes, there were further discoveries of further other Jammeh assets that were not covered by the commission.
Okay.
I can say this loud and clear. But the amount, number of them, the list of them, I have no idea with that as we speak right now.
And how can that list be made available?
You asked the Attorney General, Minister of Justice to help you with that. That was not under my purview.
Okay. Luckily for us, we have him tomorrow.
And you can ask him that.
Yes. Okay, just maybe 2 more questions. I'm
Yes.
just trying to, I promise we will not keep you here long. Now, the last report, were there any challenges in implementing any of the findings in your reports, the subcommittee's reports?
I cannot recall. Probably yes, it's possible, but I cannot recall. What were the challenges? I cannot recall that. But there may be, yes, there must have been, of course.
And since the subcommittee is responsible to advise, actually, I'll hold that question back. It might. Honorable Chair, I'm heavily constrained because it has come to light now that the subcommittee is still in force, and I want to reserve certain questions because of that fact. Because of that, I would deflect back to the high table and allow the high table to ask certain questions before I conclude.
Okay, very well. All members, at this point, I will ask Honorable Ture to ask any question for clarity.
Just very few. Thank you very much, Honorable Ba, for your time. I was just wondering whether the lands allocated to Jammeh in the TDA, whether they were returned to the GT board.
Yes, I said this very clearly, that there was a letter from the Attorney General Chambers addressed to the Director General of the Gambia Tourism Board, returning these lands to the board.
Yes.
That letter existed, yes, there were.
But in your right of what you are saying, there specific lands were to be returned to the GT board. Specific lands.
Yes.
I'm asking whether is it all the lands allocated?
I'm not quite sure. I cannot make that distinction now whether it was all or part, but I know a list of lands were returned.
Sorry, if I may interject, Honorable. Yeah. When you say returned to the
tourism board to go on processing it, doing in accordance with law to allocate.
Just not so whether all of them are returned to GT board.
Yes, I do know that there was a letter indicating, listing out certain lands, lease numbers of Jammeh returned to GT board to be processed for reallocation to prospective investors.
Yes, thank you. I was also wondering about a question that came during our discussion yesterday or day before yesterday, Monday, which is relating to your task force. In that task force, the Minister for Finance at the time, he was not included in the task force.
Let me put it this way. He was included in the task force, but the Attorney General felt that since he was adversely mentioned in the report, that it would be very difficult to have him sit in the task force. So he would recuse himself from, he was actually asked to excuse himself from the task force. That's the then finance minister. I can confirm that to you as a fact.
He was not included because of...
He was included but could not continue to be a member of the committee because, as I said, the Attorney General felt, or the committee felt rather, not the Attorney General, we felt he was adversely mentioned in part of the January Commission report, that it would be difficult for him to sit in that committee to perform his duties effectively.
How was he mentioned in the report?
You can check the JANNEH Commission report. I'm not expert. I can memorize the report. You can check the facts within the report.
We are told that he is compromised.
He is?
He has been compromised.
Compromised by what? Who?
The minister was compromised. That's why he did not fit in the report.
I believe what you are told. But I only said he could not be in the committee for some reasons. Yes. So what you said could be the reason.
Yes. The other question that comes to mind is that whether GT board has allocated any of the lands originally belonging to Jammeh in the T report, whether they have allocated any of them.
Yes, they did. They did. That's a fact.
Some of them.
Yes, some of them they did, yes. I cannot remember exactly how many, but they did. That's a fact of life. That was the reason why we had to seek due process by law to get them to allocate this land to investors.
So do you, was anyone from the Ministry of Finance that took the place of the minister?
I'm not aware, because that could only be a minister. It was not nothing less than a minister, and there is only one minister of finance. So there was no way he can be replaced with another minister of finance when he is the minister of finance at the time.
So the permanent secretary did not say.
He cannot be, he's not a minister, it's a ministerial task force. So you don't expect a permanent secretary to sit in that committee.
No, I just want you to say yes or
no. No, the answer is it cannot be. He was not a minister. We are talking about ministerial task force. Yes. So how can you talk about a permanent secretary? It cannot match.
So do you, just your opinion, the absence of the finance minister in the task force, when the task force is dealing with financial issues, has that caused some inefficiency in the task force?
I don't believe so. The task force effectively did its job.
Okay, thank you.
Because we were not handling cash.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Honorable Sir.
Thank you very much, Chair. Hello, Minister. You have your statement?
Yeah, I can memorize my statement, wherever it is. Sure.
In number 3 of your statement, you made mention about lands that were been given back to the GT board. Can you recall the number?
I cannot recall the number.
And the areas?
I cannot recall the number, neither the areas.
In paragraph 6, you talked about Madam Binta Sise.
Yes.
Who met the requirements and was allocated a land. Is this land still in her name?
Is
the land still in her name?
No, I don't think so. I think it was revoked.
What was the reason?
For some reason, I think the Ministry of Information claimed that the land was given to them many years ago. They had a lease over it. And I felt it was immediately necessary to revoke it, and it was revoked.
So it is
and given back to the ministry.
The same Rascon?
Yes, exactly.
That was the same Rascon?
Yeah, Rascon. When I was told they hold the lease, immediately I ordered it to be revoked. So it was revoked. I told the board to revoke it, since there is an existing lease for another company. You cannot have 2 leases on one land.
So it's now in the name of the Ministry of Information?
Minister of Information,
yes.
And yes. Digital technology, whatever.
Yes. Hello, Minister. With regards to your ministerial report, was there any report that was signed by all of you?
I cannot recall. I cannot recall that.
But you could recall receiving the report of your committee?
Yes, indeed, of course.
And it was circulated to all ministers?
Yes, of course. Why not?
Why would you say a minister said that they never seen the report or even signed the report? What would you say?
Well, that's not me. I am saying we received the report as a member. As a minister member, I received the report from the technical committee done by the permanent secretary, streets, and other senior government officials.
Who was chairing the meeting?
I have no idea who chaired the meeting. In fact, maybe the Solicitor General, maybe. I'm not sure. I stand to be corrected on that. But I think the former Solicitor General, Mr. Mareno, should know who chaired that committee.
Mr. Ba, Honorable Ba.
Yes.
In your statement in paragraph 10,
yes,
you made mention about lands that were forcefully taken by the former president. So my question is, when it comes to the issue of Babukar Somposise,
you see?
Babukar Somposise.
Yes.
Was his land forcefully taken away from him, or was it undervalued?
Let me put a statement on this, Mr. Chair, if you would allow me. When I came during my interview, what I saw, the trend of questioning, I believe that there was a deliberate attempt to tarnish the image of Batambedu, Binta Sise, Alpha Bari. Because the entire questions were leading to these three people. And I find it disturbing for that to happen. Absolutely. And that's my opinion. And I think really, that's my opinion. And I believe that really, no, I'm coming. Allow me to learn.
I just wanted to say, since you've made that statement, now can you just provide answer for him now?
Repeat your question.
My question is very clear. You started responding without listening to my question clearly.
Go ahead. Now I wanted to take out my ceiling first.
The one of Mr. Babka Sombosise.
Yes.
Was it forcefully sold, or was it?
Before the question is put, please, if I may just solicit some clarification. You, Honorable Minister, you had mentioned that there was a deliberate attempt.
From my perception.
From
my view, my perception.
Yes, from who?
From what I saw the trend of questioning during that interview.
I see.
It was geared towards getting these people on the map.
I see.
Right in the mud rather. That's what I believe.
That's what you believe?
Yes, I made it wrong. But that's my honest view.
I understand. I want to respectfully say you are wrong.
Yes.
And also I want to also note that you are the one who brought it to light.
Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Let me put it this way. There were a couple of lands, not only this one.
Yes.
There was this Babundur garden in Bara. There was also this Job Dollar property. And I think it stand to be corrected with Babukar Somposise. And then few others where the commission recommended that the persons need to repay back what Jammeh paid them and be given back these properties. Because as far as the commission was concerned, that really the sale did not go through the normal process of what that had been taken. Like some sort of there was a little bit of intimidation or forceful buying, whatever. But then the commission did mention a couple of these properties that let the owners be contacted and let them return what Jammeh gave them for them to take back their houses. These are not, I think we read something. And that's, let me come in here too, Mr. Chair, if you permit me. No. And that's really brought a lot of confusion in this country. If you look at that report of the Republican, where he mentioned lands that were bought on this were sold at this price, misleading Gambians, not knowing that this was a decision of the commission, brought a lot of confusion in this country. And I'm happy that this committee will set light on that and put the facts before the Gambian people, based on the JANNEH Commission report.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, thank you.
My question, the reason for my question is based on one thing, because in your statement, you said forcefully forced to sell, one. But if you look at the ministers, if you listen to the ministers yesterday, this particular land was undervalued. And then it was not directly Babukar and the former president, it was the bank and the former president.
I may not recall all that.
Yes.
Yes.
In paragraph 13 of your statement, with the issue of receivership, the appointment of Mr. Alpha Barry, yes. Was it an open tender or was it a restricted tender?
Well, I cannot remember, but I know the committee approved his appointment. What process, I cannot recall exactly, but I know the committee approved his appointment.
It was approved by the committee, but you cannot recall the process?
Yes, but it was approved by the committee, and then at a certain stage, the committee realized that he was revaluing the lands and getting a lot of money. We decided to challenge his 10%, and we asked it to be cut by 50%, and we will not accept 10% anymore, because he was revaluing genuinely to raise more money for government, but at the same time, we realize that raising money for government will still make man more money. We said, look, you take 5%, and the rest you have to put into, and you must continue revaluing all the assets.
He
did.
He did a good job for you by revaluing.
Yes.
Because they are undervalued.
I cannot say that.
So, but
No, they have gained value.
they have gained back.
They gain value. I cannot say undervalue, but gain value.
They gained value when he did the revaluation.
No, because at the time they were valued, and at the time of sale, there has been difference, development.
So this property that we are returning to their previous owners, were there any development in those properties?
I cannot recall. I've not been to those properties.
You must recall.
No, I cannot.
The last question is,
Yes.
you mentioned I've been a Gainako, and you are very proud of being a Gainako.
Absolutely, and big one, in fact, for that matter.
Did you buy any of Jammeh's?
Never.
I mean,
Never. The word never first.
hang on,
Proceed.
before I learn. Did you buy any of Jammeh's cattle, or you have assigned someone to buy on your behalf?
Never in my life. Never should I have Jammeh cattle even close to my cattle, because it doesn't remove jaka. And my cattle, they remove jaka. Subhanallah. Never get those cattle in
You
my
never bought anything from
Never, absolutely. They don't get out, take a jaka. I take out jaka. As it is prescribed by the Holy Quran.
Did you take out the last year?
Yes, I did.
Where is mine?
I would not give it to you. I give it to the poor. You are rich.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, he has one more question, then I have my few questions.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Ba, Honorable Ba. I'm considering, I'm thinking about those whose lands were bought by Jammeh, and they want their lands back. Yeah. How does the task force determine what Jammeh has given them?
It was in the commission report.
It was in the commission report.
Yes, the figures were there, clearly stipulated.
That's a good one. Now, what I was thinking, the task force is selling land.
We don't sell land.
You recommend for?
We recommend to receiver who sells land. We don't sell land.
Yes. So when you recommend for the receiver to sell land, whether it is through the GPPA regulation,
It's through public tender, not GPPA.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, honorable members. But I have one or two questions. My first question is as a confirmation, because in your statement, you said your task force is an extension of the cabinet. You don't make any decisions. Any decision from you or any recommendation from your task force has to be endorsed by the cabinet.
Absolutely.
Then it becomes a cabinet responsibility.
Yes.
That means collectively, whatever happens, all of you are responsible.
Of course.
Right. Okay. Then my second question is, if you go to paragraph 12 of your statement concerning the job dollar property at Kairaba Avenue. If you go to paragraph 12 of your statement,
Yes.
you said, in the job dollar matter specifically, your recollection is that the family did not meet the payment deadline. Can you tell this committee what was that deadline?
I cannot remember exactly the deadline. I don't have the records with me, but I do know they did not meet the payment deadline.
But would you also agree with me that they have made a payment on the 13th of October 2021 of $16 million?
Well, that is your opinion.
No, it's not an opinion, it's a fact. I have a receipt here.
It's okay.
It's not an opinion, it's a fact. The receipt here from Central Bank shows that they made a payment of 16 million on the 13th of October 2021. It's a fact, not opinion.
I agree. No problem.
You agree with that?
Yeah, that they made a payment.
Okay. But now the deadline is what you don't know. Because I was going...
I don't know the deadline.
Deadline.
There was an advance payment. They could not meet up the rest. Yes.
Well, per this receipt, a full payment of 16 million was paid on the 13th
But
October 2021.
they could not meet up the deadline to refund government its money.
Would you endeavor to inform this committee later the deadline given to them so that we can make a comparison?
Yes, I will endeavor to give you that.
Thank you. That should be all.
Provided you will not keep me for 1 hour, 2 hours here.
No.
I can do that to you.
Yes. That's all for me, but I think still Honorable Ture.
That's not very clear. This committee wants to wrap up soon, so I think the ministers undertake, make an undertaking and said at least tomorrow or after tomorrow he'll be able to give.
I will not be able to do that. I have
We are not coming in person.
yes.
You can send it.
You can send somebody.
Send somebody just and
Send it to the-
read it in stamp and then send it to us.
You mean the deadline?
Yes, the deadline.
But I will try to recall. I will try to see but if I can get it somewhere. I would see.
Tomorrow would be the okay for you.
Maybe even today. I will try to see.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
Maybe I will try
Yeah.
to see.
Honorable Chair, if I can ride along that application to bring my own as well.
What is your own?
That perhaps the first one is a question for the Honorable Minister to enlighten us on all the cancellation of leases, what the status of all those lands are. But if the answer is not forthcoming now, it can come as part of that submission.
My director of land appeared and you asked him this question, didn't you?
Yes.
Why? What else do you want? I can only get it from him. So what you have is exactly what we are.
We don't have any submissions yet.
For the number of leases that we are cancelled.
Yes. We don't have a full
Cancellation is
so
done by the Attorney General, Register of General, but the instruction comes from the Director of Lands. I can endeavor to ask him that even this evening, if he can provide that tomorrow.
Great. That's the ride along. However, I have a series of questions, but not too long. Yes. Okay. I'm being informed that during the session with the Director of Lands and Surveys, he could not give us a clear status of all the properties that were forfeited to the state in the provinces. Perhaps if you could enlighten us on that.
I depend on the technicians to get that information.
Okay, that's then part of the submission. Then.
You put something in writing, I will look at it.
Honorable Chair, I believe the Honorable Minister has directed the Honorable Chair to.
Perhaps it's for his own guidance.
Yes.
Okay.
But is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine. Okay, that's fine.
Send me the request, and we'll look at it.
Great. Oh, sorry. That's a different. Is it? Do you want the assembly to request?
No.
Oh,
What are you asking now?
oh, fantastic. Great. I will do
The
it.
assembly.
I will do it. All right. I wish for us to look at the two reports again. But this time you would need to open the reports. I know your memory is 10:10, but I would just ask you to indulge me.
Refer me to the page.
Yes, page 6
Page 6.
of MOJ 9E, which is the first report, the report of the 23rd of April 2020.
Page 6.
Yes.
Completion?
It says, it has a paragraph that says D, the phases.
Wait. Which page? Can you look at the page? Which page?
Page 6 of the report dated the 23rd, submitted rather, on the 23rd of April 2020.
Okay, I was referring to the other one.
MOJ 9E.
Yeah, page 6. Page 6.
Yes.
D, huh?
Yes, it says D, the phases.
Let me see.
And then it goes on to say phase 1.
Phase D. D you mean? Phase D.
It says D,
Yes, phase.
the phases.
Yes, phase 1, 4th September.
Fantastic. Now, I want us to take note of that property, the property that features there. It's there are only two properties that feature there. It says number 78A and number 78B, Daniel Goddard Street.
Yes.
Hagan Street.
Yes.
We take note of that. And
Yes.
what I wish you to take note is that phase 1 says that on the 4th of September, with a deadline of the 18th of September 2019 at 4 p.m., 14 properties were sold.
Yes.
And it listed the 14 properties.
Yes.
So number 78 and A and B of Daniel Goddard Street or Hagan Street
Yes.
was sold.
Yes.
Okay, let's go to the other report.
Which one?
That's the other one I tagged.
Yes.
That's MOJ 9G.
Yes.
For that one, I wish to... Okay, for that one, your committee has given us the tedious task of not numbering the document. So I would try and guide you to say where the... okay. Let's see, it would be page 1. The first page. After
Where you have 78 Hagan and B.
Exactly.
First.
That's a table now.
Yes.
And
Table
that-
number 1.
Yes, the table, and the first item is 78A and B Hagan Street.
Yes.
And the list numbers are highlighted. And the recommendation of the commission is also highlighted. Recommendation made by the committee, it is reserved for government use.
Yes.
Now here we have a sort of ambiguity that we wish for you to clarify.
Yeah, normally, I think I remember this case. I think when we went to cabinet recommended that these areas not to be sold, to be used for, I stand to be corrected, but I think it was cabinet that reversed that decision, that they should not be sold. I stand to be corrected on this, but I remember that there were few properties that we were told not to sell, and that cabinet needed this, the government needed these properties. So I'm not quite sure whether it's this one, but I do know we had few that cabinet said, no, please don't sell.
Sell that.
People even went and offered money, and cabinet said, no, we are not accepting the sale of these properties. Let them remain government properties.
Okay. While I do commend cabinet for not selling at such a prime location, the confusion here is that in the first report, which was earlier submitted to cabinet, it reported that the receiver has already sold. That 14 properties were sold.
Yes.
And 78A and B of Daniel Goddard Street, was highlighted as being sold already.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I am saying that we need to further research into this through the receiver. But I do know that there was a time that we reported sale on patent properties, and I think cabinet reversed the decision to say that these are better for public use than selling them because of the high rentage of government property.
I see. So the transactions were complete, but then you reversed them.
I believe so. I believe so. I believe you can liaise with the receiver for that information for confirmation.
What about Hamza Barracks?
Hamza Barracks was rejected completely for sale.
Okay. There were several, as you have highlighted, there were several.
Cabinet rejected the sale of Hamza Barracks.
What about the garage at Canifing?
It was rejected for sale.
Also rejected.
Yes, for public use.
Can you enlighten us more on Canifing?
On
Canifing.
Cardiff.
Is government in possession of Canifing?
Cardiff, where? Cardiff is big. It's a huge area.
Yes, I know Canifing is big.
So what's Cardiff?
With all due respect, Honorable Minister, I know exactly, I know that you know what property.
Cardiff, no, I don't know.
But for the record, we can sanitize the record.
Seriously, I don't know.
Okay.
Cardiff.
Canifing, there's a government garage, what used to be a government garage in the former regime, in the regime of His Excellency President Yahya AJ.
I'm not aware whether part of the asset sold or not sold. I have no idea.
Okay.
Frankly speaking, and I'm being honest to you on the oath.
That's fine. Perhaps I would ask that whenever you're submitting anything to the committee, the status of all these properties.
I cannot do that. I'm not the chair of this committee. I reject that request.
You reject the request?
Yes, for my inability to carry it out. I will not make that undertaking because I cannot do it. It's not
Honorable
my-
Chair.
I'm not the chair.
Honorable Chair, we've had such a nice day with the Honorable Minister. Unfortunately, this time I would agree with him, and I'll put my question to the Attorney General.
So question.
My request, rather. I'll put it to the Attorney General. I'll put it to the Attorney General. I agree with him. He's not.
I'm not the chair. You can't do that.
He's neither the chair or the secretary. So
Okay.
fine.
So we can move on.
We can move on.
So, you know, your exchanges, the minister promised to get to the receiver to get that verification. You remember that?
That was made separate. That has been accepted. But I do agree that this last request perhaps is for someone else.
Thank you.
Honorable,
Yes,
my pleasure.
thank you.
I'm done, Honorable Chair.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Minister. That's all we have for you for now. And we'll always put it like that because the committee is trying to wrap up. But for now, that's all what we have for you. But please be reminded that the commitments you have taken, that the committee have them, because we really we want to wrap up. So we want those things.
I will not delay this committee not for a minute
Thank you.
in doing its job.
Thank you.
Because I want the public to understand what transpired and what happened.
Thank you.
And I think that's one of the reasons why this committee was set up.
Exactly.
And government accepted the setting of this committee. We could have defeated it on the floor of the House because we have the majority and dump it in the garbage. But for the greater good of this country, for the issue of transparency, we felt this committee should happen and it should do the job and enlighten the Gambian people and put the facts before the people so that everybody can go to sleep and understand what we are.
Honorable Minister, Honorable Chair, you know, we've had such a nice day, Honorable Minister. Why would you go and make such a statement? Well, because I would, anyway.
Now, I just want to say that what the parliament did was parliament's job.
Absolutely.
I don't believe that the cabinet is the one that decided this committee.
We don't go into argument, Mr. Committee Member.
That's what I'm
I've just made my statement known and my case is closed.
So
No, on this issue that we are talking about. No, it's not this issue we are talking about. Yes.
we agree. So it's okay. Honorable Minister, I think that's it. Like according to our legal team, we had a good day with you. So
Yes.
let's end it nicely. So, like I said, the committee has a work to do, and we are almost at the tail end, and we're not preempting anything. But then we thank you for coming, and you are released.
Thank you.
Honorable Chair, perhaps something is itching me just to state that,
For the minister.
yes, we do not have government MPs. We have National Assembly members.
I agree with you.
Thank you.
Not government MPs, national Assembly. What our members of our parties, coalition is more than yours. No, I'm joking. I'm just joking.
All right,
Anyway,
so you are released.
that's
So meeting is adjourned till tomorrow, 11 o'clock.
all right.
Thank you.